Let's do it, man. Where do you want to start?
Wherever you want, bro. I'll
College?
follow you.
You want to go college? You want to go NFL?
It don't matter, bro.
Let's talk about let's talk about that nasty ass first round of the CFP. Welcome everybody. As you can tell, my voice sounds like shit, but we're back. Welcome back to the show. Obviously, I am your handsome host with his hair braided, looking fantastic. Joined alongside me, my friend always and yours, Justin. Welcome to the show. Welcome back. Thanks for joining me every time. We're here for a little late night sports talk. We'll see how long it goes. And like I said, man, let's get started. Coming up to the stage. All right, let's talk about that nasty first round, bro. The most competitive game was the obvious one. Let's start with Oklahoma and Alabama, bro. What did you think about that game in the first round?
Just seems to me, bro, that Oklahoma just has a history of just falling short. They, they have a lead. I think now they have the two biggest leads blown in the college football playoffs, and I think that makes them 0-5. So what does that say about your program, bro? I mean, you get to the playoffs and you lose. You're 0-5 in the college football playoffs. You blew a lead to a team that you beat not too long ago. And I think the coaches, if it's me, I think the coaches got to go. That's inexcusable. You're up 17-0, and then you give
Oh,
little or no effort after that.
yeah, man, and that wasn't the first time that they had lost like that, bro. All their losses were from second half deficits, or they just completely came out flat multiple times. So you want to think like why? Like what is it? Is it just like is it the message not going through? Are we not trying to compete? Are we not trying to like actually do anything with this college focus? Like what are we doing?
It just seems to me when they get put up against big brands in college football, man, and it's been like that since the Big 12, they fall flat. It's just always, we should have known because Texas beat them pretty good, man.
Yeah.
And it just seems like when they were matched up against somebody, I mean, they had just beat Bama, but I don't think anybody's singing Bama's praises quite yet. So that's just, 0-5 in the playoffs, man. That's just inexcusable. I mean, you haven't won a playoff game and you've been there 5 times.
Oh yeah. Yeah, bro. It's just yeah, like you said, it's super inexcusable, especially for a program like that where you try to make your big leap. You've made the playoff like 5 times under separate regimes, and you've lost like that each and every time. So it's like, as a program, what do you do? What can you do? You're gonna lose people like that because you're gonna want people to stay. But I mean, that wasn't the worst matchup out there because we can move on to the top of the bracket up here. James Madison, for no good reason, playing Oregon, losing 51-34. Don't let the score fool you. They were not competitive. Shout out to my boy Eric Cruz in the chat. Cruz, good to see you back in the chat, buddy. I hope your Christmas went well. God bless you and your family. But yeah, Justin, what do you think about that JMU Oregon game, bro? It had no business. Like I said, the scoreboard did not show or represent how that game actually went.
I think and I'm just going to go ahead and pair it with the Tulane game. Both of them teams do not belong. Absolutely do not belong in the college football playoffs. Give them their own championship. Because what a waste it was not having Texas or Notre Dame in those games. I mean, what a waste. You just take those two out, put Texas and Notre Dame in, and I think everybody's pretty happy with the bracket, maybe except Vanderbilt. But you can put any of those three. And I think the bracket has the best teams in the country
I mean,
in the playoffs.
it would be more competitive if you added any of those guys and you take out JMU and Tulane.
I mean, look at it like this: if you put Texas and Notre Dame in there in those two spots and take those two out, how could you not say the best teams are not in the college football playoffs?
Yeah, bro, because especially with like Tulane and Ole Miss had already played, and Tulane lost a combined 84-12. So
It's
like,
just, what is the committee doing there, man? I just don't understand it. Why Texas with the someone like the Longhorns who has the best resume in the country with the best schedule in the country that doesn't get in over a James Madison who has no business there at all.
at all, bro. Like I said, it was just a little pity. Here you go. Here's your game because the AC, we don't want to put in a 5-loss Duke who won the ACC. So we're gonna put in these two guys, and then we're gonna put in the ACC team who didn't even really qualify to make it into but to the first place. I
And if
mean,
you're the committee for college football, I mean, people are changing the channels quick on those games, man. No one's interested in
absolutely,
those. So,
absolutely
but
nobody.
imagine you have Notre Dame and Oregon and Texas and Ole Miss. I bet everybody's watching.
Absolutely, yeah, bro. You can't tell me that Ole Miss Texas isn't a close game or Vanderbilt Oregon isn't a close game. It's absolutely a better game than what we got, man. But moving to the more competitive, just a lot of back and forth, a lot of great defense, and a lot of strange weather. Let's talk about Miami and Texas A&M, bro. What are your thoughts? As we called it on this show, Texas A&M didn't play anybody, and when they got to the big stage against two tough teams, they dropped both of them, going 0-2 in their last two games.
Biggest frauds of the year. I mean, that's what. I mean, at the end of the day, that's just what that's got to be. I don't mean to be disrespectful, but absolutely fraudulent. You gave yourself a cupcake schedule and it bit you because your last two games of the year you played Texas and Miami, and what they mustered 3 points against Miami. That entire game, did they even score a touchdown? I think it ended with 3 point 10-3 or something like that, right? Was the final score of this game? I lost your mic there.
Yo, you got me?
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, I mean, what they scored three.
It was 10-3. They had 5 straight missed field goals, and granted, 50-mile-an-hour wind, bro, but they put up only 3 points in 4 quarters of football at home. At home. So you're
Yeah,
used to
in
conditions,
College Station.
and
I,
like you said, the most fraudulent team that was in there was Texas A&M because when they stepped up to the big boys, they lost both times. They played nobody. Their best win was Notre Dame, and Notre Dame. We were all saying Notre Dame didn't play anybody.
Yeah, and I think we called it out on this show after the South Carolina game with A&M.
Yeah,
We thought that was pretty sus, and then Texas proved it to be true, and then it just all came apart. I mean, you can't score 3 points in a playoff game, and Miami's got a good defense, but they're not, they're not Texas. So
no,
I
they're not.
think
They're not the top tier elite team that you want to see.
they're not the Ohio State, Texas Tech, Texas, Indiana defense. So to only go
No,
and
not at all.
only go and score 3 points, and once it, to your point, at home in the playoffs, that I mean, you didn't belong there. Yeah, and
You're
that's what
asking for problems if you're playing at home like that.
and this is why I think, in my opinion, college
You're
football
asking for
needs.
a whole.
I think college football needs to take over the scheduling, man. I just do.
Correct.
I got you frozen.
There we
I
go.
got you frozen.
Are
Oh,
we
there
there?
you
You
go.
there?
Yeah, there you go. Can you hear me?
There we go. Good. I don't know what happened. Hold on, let me.
Yeah, you kind of
Yeah,
bugging
yeah, I
out a
got
little
you.
bit.
I got you. Keep going.
Yeah, but I think college football
I
needs
got
to
you. Hold on.
take
I'll
over the
fix it. I'll
scheduling
fix it.
because I just think with everything that's going on with the scheduling, Texas gets out because they had a good schedule, and A&M gets in because they have a cupcake schedule. But at the end of the year, they play two tough games and they get knocked out. I mean, just not even in those games. So college football needs to take over scheduling. Stop giving the schools power to have just schedule nobodies, and as long as they win, they're in. Because
Yeah,
then that's
bro.
the result you get in the playoffs.
It's like the clip that we shared with Coach Sark when he says, is it about playing the best teams or is it about having a good record and getting into the playoffs? Like, what is it really about in terms of the actual CFP? What are we actually trying to accomplish here? But
Yeah, I think it's bad ball.
it was bad. But it gets interesting here in the second round as we got some great matchups looking forward. I think me and you we can agree that the most intriguing matchup is that Oregon and Texas Tech game because it's only -1.5 for Oregon favored. Justin, in the Orange Bowl, how do you see that game going with Oregon and Texas Tech?
I think it's intriguing because there's a lot of unknown, right? So I think we think Oregon's pretty good and they have a really high powered offense, and I think we think that Texas Tech's defense is elite. But you can look at it and say, well, we're about to find out, because the level of competition is just not the SEC. It's not, Tech hasn't played a Bama or Georgia or an Oregon or Indiana. And Oregon, I think they lost pretty badly this year to who was it? Was it Indiana that beat them up pretty good?
Yeah, Indiana went in there and stomped a mud hole.
Yeah. So it's like, is Oregon or Tech here because of a favorable schedule? You can almost say like A&M. So it's just one of those things where I think that's intriguing. I think Tech's going to win that game. I trust their defense. I think defense is going to travel well.
Yeah,
It's not a home game for Tech, but it's in what? It's in Florida,
yeah, it's at the Orange Bowl.
and I think Tech's defense shows up. I think offense is more likely to hit some snares, and the layoff has to worry you. I mean,
Absolutely, it has to worry you, bro.
they have got to fix
That's a month off.
when there's no reason why we're not playing college football this weekend. I mean, good Lord, man, we don't need 4 weeks off in
Yeah,
between. I think Tech's coach said it best. The national championship needs to be played on New Year's.
absolutely. Because you can still play the New Year's Six bowl games, and still they can be important with good games. And you play the national championship on the first.
Yeah, because they call it a bye week. It's not a bye week; it's a bye month, man. And to me, that sets you up for bad football. Because for all we know, man. I mean, because even Oregon is going to have 2 weeks, 3 almost off by the time they play this game. Even though they just played James Madison. What? How long ago did they play James Madison?
Who?
Oregon.
Like 2 weeks ago.
So they're going to go into it about.
That game happens, it'll only be 2 weeks.
But still, that's 2 weeks of layoff. You could come out there and get stale football from both sides.
Absolutely.
It's way too long of a layoff. And I think, like I said, and that's partly why I favor Tech, because I think defense is able to hold some of that rust together better than offenses are.
Yeah, no doubt, bro. No doubt. I agree with you. I feel like the answer to Oregon's offense is a defense as physical as Texas Tech because that's how Indiana beat them. They out physicaled Oregon, and it showed in that game. But it's like this: they have the same counterparts for their positive as they do their negative. Because Oregon doesn't have the best defense, neither does Texas Tech have the best offense. So I feel like that's why it's the most intriguing right now, as we sit here today. The matchup predictor has Texas Tech a 51.5 favorite to win that game. And I completely agree with that. It's so tight because there's so many answers. You need answers in this game. So you never know what's going to happen. But I agree with you. We need to put all this together because this is what I was warning you about. Last year, all 4 teams that got a bye week lost because they had all that time off. So it's really a worry when you look at it like that from a team standpoint of, is this really, do you want the bye week or do you want to play good enough to just be in the mix and only have those 2 weeks off? Because think about it, bro. It's you just played a game. It's only a couple weeks. You need at least a couple of days to travel, get settled, practice, some walkthroughs. Texas Tech has just been sitting there waiting since the Big 12 championship, and that was a month ago.
It seems ages.
Ages ago in a super non-competitive game. Super non-competitive.
And
But
I think for Tech, I think the good thing for Tech is that their offense isn't great, but I think they run the ball well, and that kind of. Sometimes I think their coach calls. I've watched every snap of Texas Tech this year, and I think Joey McGuire calls that game offensively knowing what his defense is. So it seems to me that they try to run the ball, keep the ball as much as possible, and then let their defense rest and go eat. So I think that's going to help them. But it's like you said, man, everyone lost last year because so you don't know if it's really easy to see Tech, Indiana, Georgia, and Miami go out there and be rusty. I mean, not Miami. Miami won't be,
Ohio
but
State,
Ohio State. Yeah, that's what I mean. Ohio State, Georgia, Indiana, and Tech could come out and be completely rested. I mean, a month of football is a long time
long time, a long
without feeling, getting hit or hitting somebody or, just being in the rhythm of things. So I don't, they got to fix that, man.
I think that's the big thing is just like you want to be in the rhythm. You don't want to get completely cold. That's the big problem. Which is why I agree with Coach McGuire with let's scoot the season up, and that way you just keep playing and keep playing and keep playing, and everybody it works better. But let's move on to that next matchup with Alabama. The Alabama Crimson Tide takes on the Indiana Hoosiers, who are favored by 6.5 going into their game. I mean, I think Alabama, this is going to be for them, just like that Oklahoma game, this is a must win outside of that Nick Saban era. They have to win this. You can't go 1 year out of the CFP and then the next year you don't, they're known around Alabama. They know about playing in championship games. So a lot of pressure is on that man in Alabama. I like Indiana. That is my national championship pick to go all the way. I don't see a matchup that I don't favor them in, especially maybe except if they play Georgia. If they play Georgia, because Georgia is just as physical, maybe a little more. But I just like the talent that they have on the Indiana Hoosier side. I like Coach Signetti. Everything about this Indiana team is just, it's something you want. It's something they play together. Mendoza's been playing fantastic this year. And then the offensive weapons behind them is phenomenal. Justin, what's your take on this Alabama Indiana game? Indiana favored 6.5, and they also have the 71% pick to win this game.
For me personally, I think Indiana might go out there and smoke Alabama. Actually, I think that they're that good. I think that they you could not bat an eye at anybody picking them as your favorite. Um, they just put on. I mean, they can win multiple ways too. Um, they in that Big Ten championship game, they shut down Ohio State's offense, and then they have a quarterback who just won the Heisman who can go out there and make plays when he's needed. He has some big time plays in that game, even though they scored 13 points. So I think they might have the best quarterback and a defense that can match up with anybody. And I think that's what makes them scary. And Bama's been shaky. Even in that win that they had against Oklahoma, they came back and won, but they were down 17-0.
Yeah, they
If
were
you go
down.
down 17-0 to Indiana, I don't think you're coming back from that. So that's why I think this game's going to be a blowout.
I mean, I can see it happening, bro. Like you said, they get too shaky. There's too many questions about them, and you want to see if they can actually hold up.
I mean, you got to think about it, man. They got smoked by Georgia in the SEC championship, and then they looked like they were on their way to getting smoked against Oklahoma. Now, credit to them, they came back, but that's still you still have bad vibes about that because you're down 17-0 after getting smoked by Georgia. Now you're going to Indiana, who just beat the reigning champion Ohio State in the Big Ten championship game.
Absolutely, bro. Yeah, I completely agree with you. If you go down against Indiana, I don't. It's going to be very very hard for them to come back and win like that. But let's go to the next one, who I think is going to get smoked. Ole Miss taking on Georgia. Georgia, the mean machine in the red and black. I think they're going to have easy nights work of Ole Miss. To me, it's just like I said. I questioned Ole Miss simply because of the whole Lane Kiffin situation. They seem to have rallied behind the current interim head coach, but like I said, that was against Tulane. So what test do we really have for you playing a team like Tulane, who everybody agreed did not belong in this football game? Like, yes, you're 12-1, but I have the same questions. When you play the bottom barrel of the SEC, you shouldn't be favored. Georgia's favored -6.5 in this game, and they have the 60% favorite pick. in this game. How do you see this one going?
I'm with you. I think Georgia's going to smoke them. I think Georgia is actually my favorite to go win it. They got hot at the right time. Um, I think Texas was an underrated team, and what they did to Texas really opened my eyes. And then they went and smoked Bama. I think that they're going to dominate. I don't see it being close, to be honest. I think Georgia is headed for the Natty.
Hey man, I agree. I feel like that matchup is gonna be my matchup for the Natty is Indiana taking on Georgia. So I could definitely see that being the big option. And last but not least, bro, I got my pick for this one. It should be simple enough. I have Ohio State beating Miami. It's even though Michael Irvin is probably gonna go wild on the fucking sideline for that game, like he did at A&M. I don't know if you saw Michael Irvin, but he was fucking going nuts. He was on his hands and knees crawling. He's barking at people. He's trying to kiss the coach on the lips. But hey, man, good on you. Uh, Going into that game, like it was an ugly football game that Miami won, so you got to give them props. But I think Ohio State is still one of those machines that they're not going to see that competition until they play a Georgia. And they got the monkey off their back in Michigan, but losing that Indiana game the way they did kind of made me lose hope. Ohio State is favored by 9.5, and they have the 70% favorite pick on ESPN. How do you see that game going?
I think we're in for three blowouts, man.
I think so.
I think so. I think Ohio State is just on a different pedigree than Miami.
Yeah.
Miami's decent, but I think Ohio State was just out physical. They got championship pedigree over there. I don't think Miami's ready. Michael Irvin will be going crazy, especially if they're in a close game. And
Yeah.
Michael Irvin will fight you. He will fight you over the Cowboys or the Hurricanes.
Bro, he will beat your ass.
I mean, he will.
But yeah, I agree, bro. I just think like Miami's not there yet. I feel like they're on their way back and they'll be better next year. But I just like I said, that machine that Ohio State is, it's hard. It's gonna be hard to compete against somebody like that, bro. And to just try to beat them is gonna be super difficult, man. It's gonna be super difficult. But we'll see. The matchups start next Wednesday, which it's gonna start with Ohio and Miami. So that's gonna be our first answer. And like I said, man, a lot of these matchups are kind of fugazi. I know I said it was more competitive, even though we see a couple blowouts, but you know, for sure, I think the for sure team that's gonna get ran over is Ole Miss at playing Georgia. I really, really, and I'm not for me not being a Texas Tech fan, I am looking so forward to that Oregon and Texas Tech game.
I think it's the best matchup of the week.
Bro, across the board, it's the best matchup. But if we're gonna talk about matchups, we gotta talk about the teams in the NFL now that are making the playoffs to this point. Justin, here is your playoff picture. Seattle and Denver take the 1 seeds. New England, Jacksonville, and Pittsburgh hold down the 3 on the AFC with Chicago, Philly, and Carolina taking on the other side. The wild cards will be the Texans, Bills, and the Chargers. Who the Texans and the Chargers play. Packers, Rams, and San Francisco all fighting for a spot. Just in the past 7 days, the Detroit Lions and your Dallas Cowboys were eliminated from playoff contention, bro. I'm pretty sure you watched the game, even though you didn't care, because the season's pretty much a wrap after next week. I asked you, what grade did you give your Dallas Cowboys, and you said an F. Break down your grade for me and why you feel that way.
They got an F, man. They got an F. I mean, it's plain and simple. The defense was one of the worst I've ever seen. They can't stop nobody to save their lives. The offense at times gets just stuttered. I mean, it's just an F all the way around. They got a lot of soul searching to do in Dallas, man. They need a lot of help. They need a lot of pieces. Like I said, edge rusher, safety, cornerback has to be done. Their entire secondary needs to be redone. They need need new defensive coordinator. You can keep the offense the same. I like the offense, but yeah,
Yeah, yeah. Shout out my boy Mondo in the chat. Love you too, baby girl. You be all right, bro. Yeah, yeah, especially because in the preseason, in the season, you gave them a 12-win prediction. Even and this was before the Micah trade. This was before Micah. Did you still see them getting 12 after that trade, or were you hesitant to give them 12?
well, I don't think it would. I don't think it would have mattered. Um, I think your secondary was so bad and your scheme was so bad that I think whether you had Micah or not, it wouldn't have mattered. I didn't expect the secondary to be as horrible as it was. I mean, they made everybody look like a Pro Bowl quarterback. JJ McCarthy looked like a Pro Bowl quarterback for crying out loud. So I mean, just you just knew if they're gonna go out there and throw the ball, people are gonna be. I mean, how many times did you watch the Dallas game this year and see people just running wide open? I mean, just wide open.
A lot, a
And,
lot.
and then the defensive coordinator, man, he just doesn't. There's no pressure. There's no simulated pressure. He can't manifest it. So he just rushes forward all season long, sits back in soft zone, and your secondary is not good enough to cover it, and you can't get no pressure. So, I mean, would Micah have helped? Maybe a little bit, but I think your secondary was so bad that it wouldn't have mattered.
I mean, but there is the argument that because Micah still had 12 and a half sacks, bro. Adding that to your defense could help the secondary, even if a little bit, even if a little bit. But at the same time, I agree, bro. And then y'all flipped from last year when you were great on the road and bad at home. You went from back to bad on the road and good at home. And now you're on the road for 8-1, which is split down the middle. You
Good
can't
call,
go.
by the way.
It's looking like a great call. It's looking like a great call because I saw the problems on defense even with Micah being there. And I didn't like the situation with Micah as a whole. And as much as y'all thought I was being a troll or I was trying to hate, as soon as and don't forget, he has the same agent as Deshaun Watson. Once I seen those same methods, I knew he was out of there and he was not going to stay. And I'd said my main thing was Jerry Jones was going to make an example out of Michael Parsons because now nobody else has asked for or had an attitude like that at all. Everybody magically wants to stay and be a Cowboy except for Diggs. I think Diggs is gone.
I do too.
Whether you cut him or you trade him, Diggs is gone no matter what.
And he's been getting beat, but I mean, he said it from the get go. He said it from the jump. He knew that the scheme was bad. I mean, the whole scheme was bad.
But Eberflus is bad. He's historically
He's just
bad.
bad. He is just bad, man. He doesn't need to be a coordinator. He needs to sit at home for a year and reevaluate his whole system because it's just bad.
And yeah, bro. So I asked you this question earlier too. What are your main 3 moves that y'all need to make this offseason?
Edge rusher, safety, linebacker.
Okay. Now,
I mean, there's a lot because you need to fire your defense coordinator. That's got to be one.
let me stop you right there at those 3. And let me ask you, I've asked you this question twice. Why has George Pickens not been in any of those 3 that I've asked you?
Because I think your offense is okay.
Without him.
I think it could be.
You have to sign him or you have to tag him. If you tag him, he still gets a lot of money for 1 year, and you'll have to draft all those other pieces you want.
Well, listen though, this is why I say this the way that I did. Because that's good and all, but if you with him this year, I mean, think about it. You pointed this out. Even with him, dude, Dallas had a 4,000-yard passer,
Yep.
2,000-yard receivers, 1,000-yard rusher, a tight end who was leading the league in tight end touchdowns, and you're going 8-1 and missing the playoffs.
Absolutely.
So even with him, you're not good enough if that defense don't get fixed.
Well, I think that goes back to our point, like when we talked about who are we talking about? I think it was the Chiefs. Because remember, we said a good to average to good offense is not going to cut it if your defense is also not great. You have to have a great defense to match your offense because you cannot win a shootout anymore. You will get stopped, and if your defense is not great, they cannot make up for your mistakes at all. Look at the Broncos. Look at the Texans. Look at the Rams. Look at the Seahawks. They're able to cover up mistakes and keep games close as long as possible. But if you look at teams like look at Detroit, look at how Detroit lost every game, multiple turnovers in each game because their defense can only hold on for so long. They cannot afford any offensive mistakes and without having results come back for those mistakes. It's hard.
It's
I mean,
just
for you guys, I think you need to get a lot younger on defense for sure. A lot younger. You need to play with speed, a lot of it. Hey, to
yeah,
me,
I think your safeties are slow. Your
yes.
linebacking core has not been good enough because Overshone's still not got his legs back.
No.
Um,
Getting hurt still.
yeah, and you're just you look old and slow. And I think part of that, I mean, but I do think a lot of it is that I think a lot of it's Eberflus. I mean, the team is just bad. They don't believe in it. They don't trust in it. They don't want to play in it. So I mean, if you have a bad defense coordinator, it doesn't matter who you have.
Do you have any idea of a coordinator that you would want?
I have an interesting take on that.
What do you
I
got?
think it'd be pretty interesting if Buffalo was to fall flat on their face and Sean McDermott was to get fired. I would seriously kick the tires on him about bringing him in.
I don't know about that one.
Or another one that I like is try to go poach Brian Flores from Minnesota.
I like that one. I like that one. If you because it doesn't seem like it still to me doesn't seem like he might get some interviews, but I don't think there's a job he would take. If we're looking at the jobs available, like a New York, maybe Miami, maybe Vegas.
One of my dream would be if they just went and got
No,
Rex Ryan.
I'm lying. Maybe he would take the Tennessee job. Maybe because their defense is good. They just need to work on it.
I would really wish that they'd go get Rex Ryan off and get up and get him back in there.
I think I don't. I see that's my problem, and that's where my debate with Pete Carroll comes in. I think people in their generation, their message doesn't get by anymore. Like look at Harbaugh. Harbaugh's message ain't getting around no more in Baltimore. There's just a you need a younger voice in the NFL now to get these teams to get behind you.
I thought the biggest whiff for Dallas was they should have went after Robert Saleh.
You think so?
I mean, look at San Francisco, man. They've been banged up, and look at them. I mean, I don't think they're great. I don't think they're going to make a deep playoff run. But you can't deny 'em, man. They win.
Yeah, I
And,
agree with that they do win some games. They get nicked up. He
I mean,
might be one of those guys that are just a better coordinator than they are a head coach for sure.
yeah, I think so. I mean, hell, after Eberflus, man, I take Wade Phillips.
Shit, go kick the tires on old Wade Phillips. See what he's been doing these days.
I mean, my goodness. I mean, it's got to get better. It ain't gonna get worse.
I mean, yeah, for sure, bro, for sure. But let's move on from the Cowboys. Let's talk about the question I asked you the other day. All the teams that are out right now, who do you think has the toughest conversation to have in the offseason?
Well, now I think it's Detroit
Really?
because
I mean,
because
to me, their conversation's not tough, but go ahead and explain.
well, just what do you do? I mean, look, I'm a Dan Campbell guy. I like him, but man, I can't help but to sit back and think. Man, I watch a lot of Detroit football, and there's 2, 3 moments a game that I'm like, what is Dan doing? What is he doing? He is putting them so far behind. He goes for things that I like being aggressive, but he takes it to a whole extreme. And most of the time, it seems to put him in holes. There's like two, three things a game that I'm just like, why is he making it harder on them? Take the three, or you don't need to go for it on your side of the fucking field. Like I just that. And yes, he's rejuvenated Detroit, and but they've been loaded and one of the best teams in football for the last 3 years, or have enough roster to be, and they just fall flat on their face, man.
I mean, do they though, bro? Because let's like not only that, he took over the offensive play calling, and their rushing offense looks like trash. I mean, look at the game they played just yesterday. They only rushed for 50 yards with two of the best running backs in the league, two top 15 at least running backs, and only 50 yards is insane to me.
I mean, look at their offensive unit, man. I mean, look if you look at Matthew Stafford and Jared Goff, they got the same exact numbers since the trade happened. They
Yes,
got Amari St. Brown and Williams, and then they got that two-headed beast, a good offensive line, and they just fall flat, man, every time. What didn't they lose first round last year as the number
yeah,
one seed?
they went one and done in the divisional round. Yeah,
It's like it got really good and then it just gets worse year by year.
yeah, absolutely. And just like it's being said in the chat, um, Ben Johnson was a huge loss for the Lions, and it shows with Chicago.
Oh man, what a coach! What a coach, man!
I mean,
I got
because
the coach of the year.
there was more creativity, there was more movement. The run game was a lot better, and I agree with you that Dan Campbell. I mean, bro, you can only roll the dice so many times, and it's gonna bite you. You can't go for fourth down on your end of the field every single time, and not only that, more importantly, take the fucking points when you can. Every time. Take the points. All I understand you can't win kicking field goals, but those points add up at the end of the day if you're constantly getting down there and putting up scores. Take the damn points at the end of the day.
Dan Campbell's that guy that he's going to lose all your money if you go to a casino with him. I mean, my God.
Absolutely.
You know, I have another
But to
interesting. I have another intriguing off-season thing, real quick. That would be intriguing. If if you're New York and you got that pick, do
oh, I
you
know.
consider moving off Jackson Dart?
Absolutely not.
Not.
I understand what people see. Mendoza's got all the measurables. He's got the size, the arm. You look at him and you think, how can't you? Do you not remember the last quarterback that they said had all the measurables and the athleticism and the talent? His name is Anthony Richardson, and look at him now.
Yeah,
Granted,
it's true.
granted, AR was more injury prone than Mendoza, but I cannot trust. Potential's gonna get your ass fired. That's plain as day. Potential will get your ass fired.
Yeah, I
If
mean, they're coming in with the new guy anyway.
I get that. If I'm New York, I'm willing to trade back to any of the three behind me. I'm willing to trade back. But I am not willing to give up. I like Jackson Dart. I could build a team around him if I can get this motherfucker to slide. I could get a team around him.
But don't you have to kind of consider like
What
get
am I
Mendoza,
considering? I
trade
have
Jackson Dart?
I will get Cam Scatterboo back. I will get Malik Neighbors back. And if I put because me and you had said from the beginning to put the kid in the game over Russ, over Jameis. There was no better option because once he got in the game, the entire vibe of the Giants changed. The entire vibe of it changed. There's no
Yeah,
hiding it at all.
I'll give you that. Him and Scatterboo together were electrifying, man. They brought some juice to that team.
If I can get this dude to slide, stop dropping your shoulder, stop trying to run dudes over.
You're
Don't
not Josh Allen.
don't dance on the sideline. Just go out of bounds or slide, and you might be okay. And just keep building that defense.
It's just, you know, it's a conversation that they gotta have.
Sure, you can have it for a little bit. I would be more willing just to trade back in the top five because I know all of those guys need quarterbacks except for maybe the Titans.
Yeah, and New York has a good defense, man. So they can go get them a stud wide receiver to
Yeah,
pair with Neighbors. They can get them
go get you a big lineman to help. I
a
mean,
lineman. Yeah,
build that O line. You have everything else. Build the O line.
I mean, hell, imagine if you put Caleb Downs on the Giants with that defense. I mean, good lord.
Yeah, but
Which is who I want Dallas to get, but for another day.
for me, back on the original question, bro, it's to me, it's the Baltimore Ravens that got to have the toughest conversation of this entire offseason
Yeah, you're right. That's a good pull.
because I'm questioning the coach. I'm questioning the multiple time MVP, 2-time MVP of Lamar Jackson, bro. Because Justin, what did I tell you earlier this season? It was about week 2, week 3, or maybe week 4, where not to say that Lamar Jackson was faking an injury, but it looked like he said, "Fuck this, I'm done. I'm done with this place." You can't
Yeah,
tell me that he didn't look like he was like, "You know what? I'm done here. It's over." And maybe he did give up and just said, "You know what? It's over. I tried," but he also keeps getting hurt. In the last 3 seasons, he's missed 3 out of his last 5. He's missed 5 games at towards the end of the season every year. He's been gone at the end of the season each of those years. I and not only that, I have Derek fucking Henry rushing for almost 100 yards, and we're taking him out in the 4th quarter. Why? Explain to me that. Why?
I don't know, man. I feel like when I watch Lamar, it almost looks like that and that normal running shit has caught up to him, man. I mean, he just doesn't look as dynamic. He doesn't look as fast. He doesn't look as interested. And I'm hearing a lot of talk about him going to Miami. So I mean, I agree. That's
Why? There's Miami's about to blow it up. Why would you take Lamar or even send Lamar to Miami? If you're Lamar, why would you want to go there? Like
just
I know it's home, but why?
yeah, I'm not sure, man. I there's something wrong in Baltimore. And I don't think Zay Flowers is a number one. I think they need a number one
Uh,
receiver.
Zay Flowers didn't even deserve to make the Pro Bowl, which is why the Pro Bowl is a joke.
Yeah, I agree. So I just I don't know, man. There's it's just bad, bro. I mean, they look that's a bad look for Baltimore. And that defense is not good. The offense wasn't good enough. They went on a little run, but with you have all them pieces that coach. I, it could be the Pittsburgh thing where it's just the coach is almost comfortable, and they haven't been winning. I mean, they've been falling short in the playoffs. Um,
Well,
Lamar's been dinged up
it's
all
not
year, and it looked like you're right. It did look like he faked that injury this year because it did not look. I mean, he was out for how long with that thing too?
it's not just that, bro. But Lamar Jackson, I have to hold you to a different standard. You're a 2-time MVP. You need to be getting me into championship games at this point, or those 2-time MVPs really mean nothing. What is the MVP with no results?
100% true.
Look at the other multiple times. It's Aaron Rodgers and Pat Mahomes. You know what those guys have? Super Bowls.
I
What
mean, that's
difference are you that you can't get me past the second round ever?
yeah, and they just fall short, and now they're going to miss the playoffs. So it's just
They're out. They're pretty much out, bro. I don't.
yeah,
It, it's
yeah.
it's it's a complete I have to hold you to that standard. No matter the MVP, as it is an individual award. Still, that best player takes their team to the Super Bowl.
I mean, to be fair to Lamar, last year, tight end did kind of drop a pass in the playoffs that
They're
has to be
always
caught.
dropping passes, bro. Andrews drops balls. Zay
Yeah,
Flowers drops
but those
balls.
things matter.
We take Derrick Henry out of the game. It's a bunch
But
of
those,
questionable things, bro. And like I
I get
said,
that, but those things matter. That doesn't fall on Lamar. That dude catches the ball, they win the game. I mean,
but
those things matter.
Lamar still gets hurt at the end of the season. He's missed the end of the season 3 out of his last 5 seasons.
I mean, I get it.
Best ability in his position is availability.
We just know. I mean, look at the history though. Look at Anthony Richardson, like you just mentioned a while ago. Those guys just don't. They don't last. I mean, they just don't, man. I mean, it's been that way for how long? I mean, if
Oh,
you're
wow.
if
Oh, but nobody's gonna run you to a championship. I get that fully. But
it's just not going to happen. I mean, he's dynamic.
with
He's going to win you a lot of games.
the credentials that he has, I have the right to question Lamar Jackson. Like,
Yeah, I mean, the thing that batted my eye today in this year is that it did look like that injury. It wasn't as severe as it was led on to be, and it kind of looked like he's given up on the season.
it not just the season, the team, the team. It seems like he doesn't want to be there. It really doesn't. And then it's it's like I said with everybody else. You took the money to stay, and now you're gonna deal with the mess that you made at the end of the day.
I mean, but to be fair, their defense is horrible too. I mean,
You know,
and
it's the same thing. They need to get younger, and they
And
need
it's one of those things where like you can put it on Lamar and Harbaugh and all that, but when you have a bad defense, man, I mean, look at that. I mean, look at Dallas, for instance.
it's like what we said in the beginning. You have to have that defense to match. It has to match how
So
good.
I mean, Lamar could be elite all he wants, but if that defense is giving up, all them points, man. What are you going to do? I mean, what are you going to do? There's nothing he can do.
I,
So, I mean, if he gave up, he might have saw the defense and was like, no, no, I'm not doing this. There's no point.
but you in his role, he can't give up. He's the leader of that team. What message does that send to the rest of the team that our head guy gives up?
And that's the biggest thing you have to question about Lamar is just how severe was the injury actually? I mean, if it's a legit injury, it's an injury. That's what running guys.
For what he does, hamstring injury, sure, it's bad. He's not going to be as mobile, but he's shown you he can throw the fucking ball well. If you're throwing for
Yeah,
over
but if you take away his legs, he's not. I would say I mean, he's not a Josh Allen, a Burrow. I think Dak throws the ball better than Lamar does. He's not Mahomes, of course. So if you take away Lamar's legs, then, you know,
I mean, yeah, you keep them in the pocket, keep them bottled up. Absolutely, that's always the game
I
plan.
mean, like you said, it goes back to the old thing, man, where like offense is great, but without a defense, it will always remain true in football.
It's flipped back. You have to have a good defense at least. A good defense, good to great defense.
I mean, shout out to Joseph. Like he just messaged us with his loud self, and though he don't want to join the show, but he's got a point there that the defense wins championships. Stroud and Bo Nix aren't to me the greatest. I don't
No,
even think, but they have a real shot to go win it because
because their defense
their
is
defenses are absolutely elite.
them in the game.
We said it all year. If Dallas and Houston mesh teams and they had that offense and that defense, they might go undefeated.
Yeah, that'd be the perfect team. But
So,
that's because that's the number one offense and the number one defense.
but
But
I
like
mean,
I
it's like
said,
it really goes back to like looking
but
at Dallas, dude.
MVP, Josh Allen carries his team into the playoff with a bad defense. His defense isn't the best either, but they're in the playoffs.
That's Superman, though.
That's the MVP. Lamar has two of those.
Yeah, but
It's
at the end
no
of the day, football is a team
different.
game, though. It doesn't matter how good you are individually. I mean,
It is, and I get that.
look at the games look at the Bills have lost some ugly games because and if they don't get their crap together, they will lose in the playoffs. I mean, I just don't. I like Josh Allen, and I think they got the best quarterback in the playoffs at this point, but I don't. I don't see them getting past a defense like Denver, especially if you have to go to Denver. I just don't see it. So, like, as great as Josh Allen is, he's going to run into the same Lamar problems, man. If he could be MVP, he could even play in that game like an MVP, but it won't be enough if they can't do it as a team. It won't be enough,
Yeah,
especially against if you have to go, to Denver, or even if Houston goes to Buffalo, and it's liable to be cold there. Yeah, they'll be used to it, but defense is going to win the cold games usually 9 times out of 10.
yeah.
So even if Lamar was in the playoffs and he had all of his dynamic stuff, if they can't stop nobody, then what's the point? Whether you're the MVP or not, and Josh Allen might well be the MVP.
I mean, yeah, you can
But
have that conversation because he's playing great. To
I
me,
mean, that, and that's why New England is set so well because they play well on both sides of the ball.
Well, to me, New England's different because everybody's bought into the same program.
Well,
Like
that's a hell of a coach.
when have you seen somebody like Stephon Diggs helping coach on the sideline in his career, like win? Everybody in New England is marching to the beat of the Mike Vrabel drum. That's why that's working. That's why people like my brother said that team is gonna win their division and possibly win the AFC
Great call too. I lost money on that deal.
because bro, he did look what he did in Tennessee. He lost all of his top players and still got the number one seed. Bro. Think about that. That is a great coach. If I can take a bunch of nobodies and we still win the one seed, we still the number one team.
Well, and look at and I think that's the thing to say about Denver too is that defense is elite and they have an offensive head coach, and I think Sean Payton's good enough to generate offense just by scheme alone. So especially when you get to this point, and this is what worries me about Houston is I think Houston's defense is good enough to win it, but I'm not sure because you're going to have at some point your offense is going to have to win you something in the playoffs. Your offense is just going to have to
Yeah, no,
win you
you have to.
something.
You can't have the days you had against like when you play Seattle. You can't stumble like you did against Denver. You dropped. It's not that he has to play perfect. He has to go down and score. They have to go down and score. They have to play consistently good football. You can't do like what you just did with the Raiders. Don't try to do something new. And especially against teams like Denver, Jacksonville, and New England, you have to be able to run the ball. Running that ball is going to open it up all the way for everybody.
For me, actually, like for Houston, I would actually favor Houston against New England because I think the defense is that good. The two teams that would worry me for Houston would be Denver, of course, because they can play your same kind of ball,
Yep.
and I think and Buffalo only because Josh Allen can find a way. And can you score with him? Now, I think y'all would do well against Allen, but I think Allen's good enough to score on some good defenses. I think y'all would smoke the Chargers. I think y'all would beat.
To me, my worry is Denver and Jacksonville because Jacksonville, like you said,
That's a good team.
like you said about Chicago, they're playing their best football at the right time, and they started playing it at the best time.
No one's
Since
talking about that team. That's a good team.
since the Jaguars and the Texans played the last time, they both have been on a win streak of 6 games each. But Jacksonville's win streak has looked more impressive than the Texans. I will give them that.
Yeah,
And
didn't they
trust
just put 30 something on the Denver too?
beat Denver by, I think it was by 2.5 scores, bro.
They put
Many,
30 plus points on that defense, man. That's a scary team.
and that's the same thing. Even with their fourth quarter heroics, they just kept putting on points, and that's without their top pick and Travis Hunter. So imagine next year when he comes back, Liam Cohen, as much as a fool that he looked like in the beginning, he's what made Baker Mayfield look really good in Tampa. Because look at how Baker looks right now. He fumbled the division lead in an easy division where you can fall backwards and win that division.
Yeah.
So to me, Jacksonville worries me because they're playing great football at the best time, and they got
Well
some
then
great
you if they meet Houston, that's a division game too. So that game's gonna be a banger either way.
stuff. But like I said, they just beat Denver. They just beat San Francisco.
What's y'all series this year?
We split.
Y'all split? Yeah.
We split. Beat each other on each other's home turf.
Yeah, the AFC side looks good. I just don't think I think everybody could be a contender. I just don't think Pittsburgh and the Chargers are. I would consider both of them probably bottom half. I think everybody else, I think your defense, Denver's defense is good enough. I think New England might be the most completely well coached team.
Yes.
Buffalo is pretty much Josh Allen or bust. And Jacksonville, man, that Jacksonville's the sneaky team, man.
Yeah, they're a quiet 11-4, a real quiet 11-4.
Super quiet.
But what do you like about that NFC side, bro? What do you think about that over there? Who do you favor over there?
Oh man, I think the NFC is tough. I think I don't believe in Carolina. Uh, I don't. I think Philly. I think if it was to end this way, I think Philly gets dog walked, one and done. I think at this point, yeah, I know they beat the Rams already by a blocked field goal or whatever, but even in that Washington game, you could see the issues with Philly. Even in that win, you could just see the issues with Philly. And I think the Rams are actually really good. I think the Bears are sneaky good. I've seen the Bears before. I've seen that kind of team. That offensive line can win you a lot of games. I think it's the best O line in football, and I think Ben Johnson is got probably got to be the coach of the year in my opinion. I think he's got to be
One
him
of
or
them,
Vrabel.
yeah, him, Vrabel, or even Liam Cohen, bro. You got to put them in that conversation of the coach of
But
the
to
year.
me, from what Chicago has been all this time, what Caleb Williams has been all this time to come in and have them as the second seed, they've won some big games. Now that Packers game is a little scary, of course, if that's how it ends up falling. But Seattle, you can't sleep on Seattle, man. Seattle's really good. I just have a feeling that Seattle is going to stumble upon themselves. I think Sam Darnold, as good as he's had some ugly moments this season.
Yeah,
San Francisco, man, for nothing. I mean, I don't think they're going to go far, but I wouldn't be surprised, man. Them dudes don't do nothing but win. And I'm a Cowboys fan, and I can't stand San Francisco.
I mean, look,
But, I mean,
you got to favor them in that matchup against Carolina if it finishes this way.
yeah, I think you do, and I think they're just well. I think this has got to be Shanahan's best year because of the. You said it first. I've been using your saying all year. They don't have an injury bug. They have an injury plague,
Yeah, it's bad.
and but yet here they are at 11-4. Now I will say their schedule has been pretty light. So it kind of makes you bat an eye at that. But I would still say, even with the hiccups that they've had, I still think the Rams are my favorite.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, even in their losses, Chicago has been like super competitive. I don't think they've been blown out by anybody, but they're in a tough division where they're splitting games with teams. So I don't like I said, they're not my pick to win, but I like them to get a decent run in the playoffs this year for sure. The NFC side for me is tough too because like I like the Rams still, but they're still just so shaky on certain performances. Certain there's like they're stumbling at the wrong time for me, and it's just like can I trust you all the way? They got to They got what you wanted in Dallas. They have an elite offense that has a good to great defense behind it. But similar to Jared Goff, Matt Stafford can have a game where he makes a lot of mistakes in a row, and it's just hard to come back from that. I don't like Seattle either, just because I don't trust Sam. If there's anybody I don't trust in this bracket, it's Sam Darnold. I do not trust him at all. And I know he's played well. He's got a decent team behind him, but I love JSN. To me, JSN has entered that top four, top three conversation of one of the best receivers in the league from this season.
I think he's the number one for this season.
Yeah, him and Puka really fighting for that best receiver this year.
The thing about the NFC is I don't think there's a single game that I think it could go either way. Like, so those first three games, I think any one of those teams could win it and you wouldn't be surprised.
No,
Like,
yeah,
as much as you think San Francisco should win, it wouldn't surprise me if Carolina beat them. I mean, I think Philly and the Rams. That's pretty much a toss up at this point because if as bad as Philly is, their defense has actually been pretty good. So if Matt Stafford, like you said a while ago, if he makes a couple mistakes, you could see Philly just grinding that game out. And then Green Bay, Chicago, we've seen this story already.
yeah. I mean, yeah, I can see Philly grinding it out. I mean, fighting with each other the whole way down, but I can see them grinding that out for sure, especially if Stafford makes a couple mistakes.
But I just think their offense is too bad in Philly. I think that offense is going to be their undoing. That offense is bad.
What's crazy enough too is in these last 2 weeks, the number one seed is up for grabs still on both sides. Anything can still happen. I think all these teams right here will still make the playoffs. Everybody that's up on this board, but that number one seed is going to be super interesting to see who gets it and who doesn't.
Yeah, I don't think on the. I think on the NFC side, the only thing I think the teams that are there are in. I
Yes,
think it's just a matter of seeding.
I think
It might be the same on the
both sides
AFC as
only have
well,
2 spots left.
and I think it's just a matter of seeding.
Yeah,
So this is pretty much your playoffs. It's just who's going to play who.
yes, and then it like I said, it can be shaken up with who plays who within these last 2 weeks. You can really see a shakeup because
Mm,
think about it. If Jacksonville somehow loses to the Colts and the Texans beat the Chargers, the Texans win the division, and then Jacksonville goes to New England. Or if somehow, some fucking way, New England trips over their own fucking feet, Buffalo wins that division, and Buffalo could still get the 1 seed if Denver falls.
Yeah, this year's has just been madness, man. I wonder how much money you could have made if we would have went to the casino and we
Not
would
a
have put.
lot. Not a
Well, I'm
lot.
saying no. Listen,
The
at the
bookies
very beginning, of the year, how much money you think you would have made if you would have went through $100 on the fact that Kansas City, Baltimore, Detroit, and Dallas were out of the playoffs?
Oh yeah, you probably get a lot of good odds on that.
Kansas City, Baltimore, and Detroit and Dallas out of the playoff. Maybe not Dallas because they didn't make it last year, but those top three right there. I mean, those are
Oh,
considered the top three teams in
would have got
football.
you would have got huge odds just with Kansas City not making it.
I think Baltimore too. I think you would have got good odds.
Like if you had Kansas City and Detroit, granted Detroit did it to themselves and they deserve to not be in it, but you put those 2 teams in, you would have made a shitload of money just off that.
You
And then
guys, Cowboy fans, you just got to
imagine
be happy Detroit's out
imagine you
because
imagine you throw that in with my brother's pick of New England winning the division and they win the division, man,
oh, your parlay, you'd be rich.
you'd be rich.
You know,
I mean, but yeah, man. Like I said, we'll deep dive. We'll do a couple more grades. Like I said, you gave your Cowboys an F. You gave an honest assessment. Let me ask you about Detroit. What would you give Detroit for the year? Would you give them an F also?
F minus. You were number one seed last year. You just completely fell apart. You just completely fell apart. I mean, you put all your chips in that Dallas basket, man. I don't. As a Cowboys fan, I'm gonna show some hate, man. They we beat them one time, I think, in what 2023. Now that game is just everything for them. I don't understand, and I don't get why we play them every year. But they're on my last nerves as a Cowboy fan. I'll say that because they go above and beyond for Dallas, and I don't even get it. It's not even like that's a rivalry or nothing.
No.
But they put all their chips in that basket, and they completely. I mean, it's like they took us down and with themselves is what it seems like. Because after that, they've just been horrible.
I mean, yeah, I get it. Yeah, but F for sure.
It's a F. I mean, you're the number one seed last year. You lost in the first round. You're supposed to come back in redemption. You had after that first loss to Green Bay week one, they had a moment where they were looking like, okay, no, they're still the Lions. They're still really good. But throughout the season, it's just been they're going to come out. Detroit's one of those teams, man. They play towards their they can come out and smoke anybody, or they can get smoked by anybody. It's
Ab-
such a weird team.
I mean, but outside of that, man, you got to point a lot of this blame and you got to point a lot of the fingers at Dan Campbell, bro, because Dan Campbell lost you a lot of these fucking games this year. A
It's
lot.
every week with him, man. It's just like, what are you doing, Dan? I don't understand what you're doing.
And then you can't take over the play calling and get worse on offense. You really can't. It's to
I
do
mean,
that.
he'll tie the game after being down, and he'll go score something, and he'll go for the 2-point conversion instead of making it a tie game with in the second quarter
Unnecessarily, bro. Un-
unnecessarily and put himself behind the stick. Still, it just don't make any sense.
yeah, at some point, and he's probably learned it now. You got to take those points, bro.
Bro,
You
he's
just
done this for 3 years, man.
because it worked. It worked the last 2 years. This year it didn't
I don't
because
think he's going to change.
he has to, bro. Because this obviously shows everybody picked up on your tendencies. They know you're gonna go for it. They know you're gonna try to go for two. They know, you're running the same trick plays we've already seen, and it's not working. You didn't adapt. You didn't change. You just thought you were just gonna run it back, and the magic will happen again. Like, no, you're back where you were. You're back where you were, and you could possibly,
Or it could all fall apart from here.
You're gonna possibly cost yourself a job, and who's to say where you get hired again
I mean, I think that window is closed.
for Detroit?
Yeah, I think that window is over. I think they had a window there, a good 3-year window. I think it's done.
I mean, yeah, they had their chance, bro. They had a really good chance last year. They had a really good chance, and they blew it. They blew that shit bad.
You know, it reminds me like I think Baltimore, Detroit, even Cincy maybe had a window there, and I think it's closed.
Yeah, I can agree to that. I think their windows are closed
At
because
least from the Cowboys, I think we have a window that might open if they do things right. And I
well,
think if they do, I think this will be Dak's last window.
with y'all have more to build on than those other teams do. That's for sure.
And my point for Dallas is that I think this is gonna be their last chance with Dak.
What do you mean by that?
I think Dak's got 3 years left, man. I
Like
think
in
he's got
Dallas,
three.
Dallas, or just in general?
I'm talking about Dak Prescott. No, and I think just in general, I think Dak's got 3 prime years left, and I think he's going to retire a Cowboy. I'm pretty certain of it.
You still see him as a one helmet guy.
I do. I think I think Jerry likes him too much
Yeah.
to let him go somewhere else. But I think he's got 3 years, so I think this is going to be his last window. I think that you've got it's going to be start next year or never.
I mean, yeah, I can agree with that, bro, because he's playing some of his best ball the past couple years, bro, and then he's been let down. He's been let down by a lot of pieces around him, and I agreed with you a few weeks earlier in the season where I can look at this game and it's not Dak's fault. It's not. I can't look at Dak and say it's his fault anymore. It's the defense fucking sucked. It was bad. It was
They
really bad. And like I said, y'all looking at y'all compared to looking at a Detroit or looking at a Cincinnati or a Baltimore, you got a lot more to build on. There's something there that you can take into the offseason and say if we tweak it just a little bit, it can get better. But like you said, you got to get rid of Eberflus. You got to find somebody out there that can do better than that. Hell, even if you go to college ranks, bro, you can find somebody better than Eberflus that can get these guys ready.
Like I said, if Jared's really all about Dak, you know, he says he's the Dak guy. Well, I think this is, you know, me. I've always been a Dak guy,
Yes, you
but
have.
I think this is his last. I think this is going to be his last push. I think he's had a few windows. You know, I think early he had a window. I think that Mike McCarthy, those 3 years was a window. It's closed, but now I think one's reopened. But you have to do the right things. And I think if Dak was to win a Super Bowl, man, I think he's a first ballot.
Mm, it's debatable. It's a debate.
He's going to have all the Cowboys numbers. He's considered, I mean, just his character alone. And then you add a Super Bowl championship on top of that. And if you don't think that the breaking the Cowboy drought isn't going to count for something, that's going to count for a lot.
I
And
mean,
it's the
it
Cowboys.
could. It could for the voters. It possibly could.
I mean,
Judge,
even the Cowboys this year, they get overvoted for the Pro Bowl as it is. They get overvoted.
I mean, yeah, but you look at the people that made it. It's hard to say like who on that list shouldn't have made it.
I'm just saying, it'd be a different beast. I think who I don't care who it is. I think whatever quarterback ends the Cowboy drought is going to be such a big deal. They're going to the Hall of Fame.
Let me ask you this though, since you only gave that window, if it doesn't improve in the offseason and it doesn't improve next year, could you see a world where Dak says, "Okay, I want to go win and I want to go somewhere else"?
I could because I mean, I don't know. It's hard to say because if you're in Dak's shoes, you know that's your team, and like he has a lot of he has a lot of control.
Yeah,
I mean, he has a lot of control of that team. You're not going to get that.
and it's not hard to see. Like, there's a list of teams that would take Dak over the guy they got right now, especially if they have a team that could go win.
I think there's a big list. I think there's a big list of people who would
Like,
take that.
as much as we said, like, imagine Joe Burrow goes in for Matt Stafford. If Stafford retires this year, imagine if Dak goes over there to the Rams
I
and
mean,
he's and
this
he's got
isn't 20.
Puka. Or imagine Dak goes to Seattle and he's got JSN.
I just don't see that happening. And anything's possible,
Anything can happen, bro.
but
As
I just don't. I don't. I just don't see
Anybody
it.
can get fed up with the situation that they're in because you can have all you can stand until you're like, okay, this is enough. This is enough. It's not gonna change.
There is something to be said though about
Now, granted,
if
I
Jerry
I
if you're Jerry's
Cowboy,
guy, sometimes
I
that
can
holds weight.
see Dak being a cowboy one helmet guy all the time. But Dak does strike me as the guy as I want to win. I want to win a Super Bowl, not just win. I want to win a Super Bowl.
Yeah,
If
but
it,
I think that Jerry Jones influence is going to have a lot to do with Dak.
but if it doesn't give, if he doesn't see that it's gonna, this team is gonna give me a chance, and the improvements are being made.
I
I
mean, I
don't,
could see
I
it,
don't
but
think
I
he's
would doubt it. I'd say highly unlikely, but not impossible.
not impossible. A low percentage, but like to me, it's if it doesn't improve or it doesn't at least show improvement or like you're trying to
I mean,
improve.
I'm gonna tell you right now, if Eberflus don't get fired, you might as well chalk it up, man. It's all
Yeah,
over.
he's bad. He's bad. I mean, but now, bro, we look forward to tomorrow. Got 2 games tomorrow. Baltimore has a chance to be eliminated. The Houston Texans and the Chargers playing a great game tomorrow for seeding and, for a lot of playoff potential. The Sunday slate looks good. We got the CFP second round starting on Wednesday. Justin, any final words before we sign off here tonight, bro?
Only thing I want from you is your final thoughts in front of the chat
Okay.
on the Jake Paul fight.
On the Jake Paul fight,
Yeah.
oh, bro, AJ, it was clear after the first couple rounds that AJ was just waiting for him to get tired. I'm gonna when he started talking about I'm gonna watch his soul leave him round after round, he knew he had the motherfucker beat before he got in there. It was just a matter of when AJ wanted to finish him and get it done.
Well, listen, Jake had the best game plan you could have had. It was run,
He just
and
didn't have
it's a good game plan for him.
he had the right game plan to survive. He didn't have the stamina or the skills to do it.
No, and that was his only game plan was to survive. And like y'all said, he took
That's
some
the
good
only
shots.
game plan he could have had, bro, because he hit AJ with his best shot and AJ stuck his tongue out at him. You're
Yeah,
not winning that.
yeah. No, that's a different beast, man. And then and everyone's like, "Oh, he should have slept in cold." Well, you know how hard it is to knock someone out cold who's running from you, man. That's
Yeah,
hard.
it's hard to knock out somebody that don't wanna be knocked out.
I mean,
It
and who's actively like, my
active,
main thing is to not get hit.
I'm gonna run. That was running. As much
The most knockouts when you're knocked out cold is when they're in an engagement. You know what I mean? Like, well, Jake Paul, he's just gonna cover up and
I mean, bro, but if I'm Jake Paul, I would have rather got knocked out than my jaw broken in 2 different fucking places.
man, he got hit hard. He got it. I mean, but credit to him for not going to sleep. I mean, my God, you get hit that hard
I would
where
have
it
rather
breaks your jaw in two places and you don't go to sleep. That dude could take a punch.
went to sleep than my jaw get fucking broken.
You got to give it to him, man. He could take a punch that get hit that hard to break your jaw and not go out.
Yeah, no, I give him his props, bro. I'm not with the whole this is scripted or he's just doing this for whatever. He's actually training. He's actually trying. Like it's just like I said, AJ's plan was I'm gonna let him tire himself out and then I'm gonna put him away. He did.
I
He
do agree with your brother though. I think he better leave Fury alone, man.
oh bro, I don't know. If they go straight into it like they want to, I'm picking Joshua. But if they let Fury get in shape and get Fury a tune up like the plan is, then yeah, I'll pick Fury all day. But if they go straight into it, I'm picking AJ.
I'm
It's
not
just
one to argue with you about boxing.
it's just since that Wilder trilogy, bro, and you've seen it, his superpower is kind of gone. It seems like Usyk wasn't the biggest puncher, but he was a cruiserweight, about a 50-pound difference, and he rocked Fury, outskilled him, outwilled him. So
Yeah.
to me, I can question Fury's mindset, but in a fight like this to determine the best from their country, absolutely, I think Fury is going to get up for it, and plus, it's a massive payday, massive payday.
Massive.
The biggest fight that country ever seen is going to happen. But yeah,
Yeah.
If you give Fury his tune-up, give me Fury all day, and they meet in September, give me Fury. But if they go straight into it for some weird reason, give me AJ all day. I'll take AJ. But with that being said, bro, that is the show. I wanna appreciate everybody coming in tonight. Appreciate everybody in the chat, all the engagement, whether you thought we were good or you thought we suck. Let us know anyway. I don't care. We want to hear from you. Share the show, share our opinions. We're trying to grow the platform, trying to make the show bigger. We will be back on Monday with the review of everything that happened in the NFL. We're going to start bringing the NBA into it because the NBA is heating up. And then we'll take a deeper dive into what the college football playoff takes.
Yeah, how about the Spurs, man?
Oh, they're a problem, bro. They are a problem.
And just a quick word to everybody, so they can understand what's going on in that chat. When you see a guy talking about trash takes and these guys suck, well, that guy sucks. So
Yeah. But with that being said, that is the show. I am Matt Garces, host of your show, talking about with Matt Garces. We will be back on Monday. See you next time. Peace.